Okay, well, as Teresa Pinto Correa and Luis are connected, I think we can start, and that will give you time to add the other speakers as panelists.
Flavian,
Yeah.
just one question, because Paola will do the opening, I will do the closing.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
then, perfect. Well, then, sorry for the delay, and thank you for joining today. I hope you can hear and see everyone. Well, today we are here to discuss about the mirror group and so on. And we are organizing that as part of Prepsoil activities. So I'm Flavien Poinceau from ACTA, and I will have the support also from Line Fritz Lindner from Aarhus University, which will help also mainly for the managing the chat and other support. And we also have the support of Valeria Fetisova from Trust IT for the tech part of this webinar. So a few words for the session. We please, well, from the moment there's only the panelists that can speak, so make sure that you mute your mic when you're not talking. And please use the question and answers module, Q&R module, to ask your question during the presentation. It will be easier to manage the discussion that way. And also, as you have probably seen when you register to the webinar, we are recording this session. So if just for information, this will be available publicly later on. And before starting the main topic, just a quick reminder or information. As I was saying, the webinar is organized as part of the Prepsoil project. So today we'll focus on mirror groups, but there are other outputs that may interest you. So feel free to take a look at our website with our Knowledge Hub. You will find different resources that can interest you, resources related to living labs, to soil monitoring, research needs at local level, and so on. So don't hesitate to go there. And now let's start the webinar per se. I will leave the floor first to Paola Eulalio, so she can say a few words, and then Teresa Pinto Correa will give you some insight regarding the concept of mirror group. So first, Paola from DigiAgri, you can take the floor whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect, because I had some issues. So good afternoon, and thank you very much for the invitation to this webinar. I want to welcome everyone to this nice meeting organized by Prepsoil. The aim, as Flavian was saying, is a meeting to delve into the development of mirror groups or similar structures in different the member states, with the aim of supporting the implementation of the mission soil nationally. So as you know, mirror groups or structures with similar objectives should bring together different stakeholders that would work for the translation of mission soil objectives into their national or subnational actions. And so they really play a crucial role for fostering the mission soil and the soil restoration in different member states. Prepsoil has analyzed the results of a comprehensive survey that was conducted last year by the Commission with the purpose of mapping which was the current situation of mirror groups in each member state. So gathering those insights and also knowing about the experience of each member state of each mirror group, identifying challenges or which were the levers that or the areas that needed improvement. Apart from that analysis, so Prepsoil has also held bilateral calls with some of these member states to know a bit more about their structure, their activities, their alignment with the mission board recommendations. And so what today Prepsoil will do is really display these conclusions for all of us, summarizing the knowledge and the experience that you, member states, have provided. This is really important because sharing this experience can inspire other people, can really serve as a guidance or as examples for others who are looking to build or to improve their own mirror groups. So also, I just wanted to say that also we have the honor to listen to Teresa Amado Pinto, who is a member of the mission board for the mission soil, and also the vice chair. And she will present us the guidelines that the mission board has written about the mirror groups. So they are recommendation and examples of how to compose, how to govern, so which are really some functionalities of mirror groups, which of course then need adjustment to each case, to its specific context of each country. So I think this webinar really will provide a unique opportunity to foster dialogue with peers who are facing maybe similar obstacles or who have the same questions, to share good practices, and indeed, and try to walk through these challenges together, which you're facing at your country. So with this, I give back the floor to Flavio. Thank you.
Thank you, Paola. Well, I just give the floor to Teresa now from the mission board that will explain a bit what are the mirror groups and how it was recommended by the mission board.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this organization. I'm sharing my screen. I hope that you can see it now.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
It's not in full screen yet.
Now.
Yeah, perfect. Now it is.
Now it should be. Okay. So I'm going to, sorry, it was too fast. So I'm going to talk about the vision that the mission soil has for what these mirror groups should be, or it would be good if they could be. And in fact, what we have discussed this in detail last year. So we have produced a set of recommendations more or less 1 year ago. And the understanding of the mirror group is an advisory board, kind of advisory board, which works across different sectors and sector legislation, and which can promote activities in collaboration with other public or private entities about soil and for soil regeneration. It is across sectors because it's not only an issue of agriculture or forestry or environmental planning, nature conservation, it's across all these sectors, and therefore it should be a board or a group which is encompassing enough to consider all the sectors. And what I'm going to say is what we have seen could work, but of course there is no one-fits-all solution. There's the composition and the way the fostering of the mission mirror group in itself should be something which should be adapted to each member state. So that's important to keep in mind. There's no very strict rule. It should be something which is adapted and which works better in each context. So what we have is this document, which is from March 24, which has the aim of the recommendation, which was to provide some guidance for the member states to be able to create their mirror groups, the tasks which a mirror group is expected to have, what could be success criteria in some years if we look back and monitor what is happening, what could we consider as successful for a mirror group, and then how to compose the mirror group, what could be the process for its constitution, and then some examples of good practices. So I will go through this, and you can of course raise questions at the end if you feel it's not clear enough. So the overall task is, of course, to make the soil, to put the soil more clearly in the agenda of these different sectors, both from the public and from the private initiatives. So by doing this, it should be to provide some leadership and gain the support of the private sector and of the public sector for much more practices which are much more aware and considering soil health. It will also be a task to promote networks which will facilitate the sharing of knowledge and resources so that there's no overlapping but complementarity between the different initiatives and projects. So the mirror groups can be a mechanism to secure this complementarity and the growth of the knowledge, but also of the impact of the different activities which are promoted within the soil mission and others, or mission soil and others. And then provide input, if possible, for national, regional, and local policies. So it can act at different scales. It depends on where it's possible and how it's possible. So in practice, a mirror group and the ones which are working already, they provide advice, but mainly they respond to demands from different sectors in the administration who ask for collaboration or who ask for suggestions. They can suggest guidelines for soil health initiatives at the different levels. So it can be a local level, at regional, or at national. They very often are asked to participate in public or technical debates about issues which relate to soil health, and they can be different issues, but they are involved in the debate. And they can also propose initiatives, so they don't need to only respond to demands, they can also propose initiatives and can propose initiatives which relate to the activities which are ongoing or other initiatives. So the success criteria would be something which has to do with the frequency and type of advice requested. So if the mirror group exists and it's frequently asked to participate or to give advice, that is a criteria for the relevance of this mirror group. The number and type of the policy orientations which start from the mirror group or passed or are developed in the mirror group. So if there are policy issues which are discussed and then the mirror group provides feedback and this feedback is used, of course, this is a success of the mirror group. And then the participation of the mirror group in these debates, which altogether should help in having more awareness and better practices regarding soil. So, and the number of type of initiatives, of course, is the most simple, but it could be good to think when starting the mirror group already about the success criteria so that the mirror group becomes really useful and has an impact. And what we suggest is that the evaluation is done every 5 years and not in a very short time, because some time may be needed for the mirror group to really be established and recognized and asked by all these partners to be involved. So what should be this mirror group? It should be a group of individuals that work for the translation of the mission soil objectives to national action. They should have the question, which is very central, they should be recognized by the political level. So there should be ownership where this mirror group is recognized as a group, an entity which is a partner and needs to be considered. So it's not enough that there is a small group of people who get together and propose they are a mirror group. It should really be owned somehow by the administration and, if possible, involve the administration so that the decisions in the mirror group, they are followed up afterwards by the administration itself. We have experienced that it's important to have two types of stakeholders or two types of members, and maybe one solution is to have two subgroups. So not just one mirror group, but one mirror group which is composed by a policy group and then a stakeholder group which will be more consultant, in fact. So the policy group will be the representatives from the different sectors, from the different public sectors, and if possible, a member of the Soil Mission Board. But we know there are no mission board members for every member state, but it could be a mission board member or an ambassador or someone who has from the country or from a neighbor country, but someone who is involved with the mission that can make the bridge between what is discussed at this national or regional level and what is being discussed in the mission soil. And then a stakeholder group, which is a bit broader, which has involved sector organizations, researchers, representatives from group in the society, and it's designed by the policy group. So the policy group is the core, and the stakeholder group is a consultant group around. And the suggestion is also in the Constitution that first the policy group is constituted, and then it selects or it points out who should be in the stakeholder group. What is important is that there is one coordinator, so that coordination is clear. Maybe, if possible, one co-coordination from the stakeholder group to make the bridge, and some secretariat support, so that the functioning of the mirror group is clear and that there is follow-up from one meeting to the other, from one event to the other. So this is what could be the ideal situation. There are different models which have been applied regarding the way it has started and the way it is coordinated. What is crucial is this ownership by the public administration. So a nomination by a ministry, so by a sector in the government, is important. And the engagement from specific individuals or entities in the related sector administrations. And the most obvious sectors are agriculture or environment, or even the science administration, but it can be open to something else if it is more relevant in the member state. So the process can be different. There can be contacts, informal contacts, typically in the beginning. Maybe a mission board member takes the initiative. Maybe someone from a member or a representative of the member state in the mission, in the assembly, also can take the initiative. There should be established some contacts, mobilize a discussion, but this way of how to proceed has really to be defined within each member state. When there are groups already which combine stakeholders, and it can be within an association or within groups which exist already, which deal with research or monitoring or management of soil issues, then maybe this can be the foster or the embryo of the mirror group. So there's really no rule. The most important rule is that it has to have this ownership by the public administration, so that it really is advising the administration in the member state. And that's it. I think that's what we can say. In the document, we have different examples of ways where the mirror group is already functioning and the initiatives that they have taken. But what I've explained here is already the result of a discussion within the Mission Soil about what could be ideally the situation. So if you want a bit more explanation, I could give, but I don't have so much time, so I think I will stop for now, and then we can see whether there are questions coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Teresa. I suggest we continue. I share some of the Prepsoil results, and then we will take a few minutes at the end to have a brief Q&A session. And in any case, there's a discussion time after the feedback from the different the 3 countries that will share their experience. So feel free to ask your question in the Q&A module while I start the presentation. And so we can directly jump on the question once I'm finished. I'm going to this one. Do you see my screen?
Yes, but it's not in presentation mode yet. Yes, now it is.
Okay, in full screen. So, all right, and I will need the time. Perfect. Okay, so I will go a bit faster on some slides because we are behind schedule. So the idea now is to share with you some of the results of our overview regarding mirror group establishment across Europe. I wanted to start with a bit of context, and this is the part where I'm going to go a bit, to skip a bit of the information to focus on the information regarding mirror group per se. But the idea was just to highlight why we are working on mirror groups in Prepsoil, starting to why we think we were working on multi-stakeholder interfaces. So that's general context. This one I'm going to speed up a bit. It's just to remind that sustainable soil management and soil preservation is not only about one sector adopting, implementing good practices, but it's also how the different sectors are working together. And that means being able, the decision maker and the policy makers needs to be able to make some compromise between priorities. And to do so, they need to understand the different needs from these sectors, so the stakeholders in these sectors, to acknowledge the multiple perception you can have regarding soil, the soil needs and the priorities for land use. And the perception on soil and soil threats and so on are not necessarily, can be aligned, but are not necessarily aligned with the scientific and technical knowledge. So we also need to have places where policymakers, decision makers, and so on can have access to scientific and technical knowledge. And finally, they also need to be aware of what's happening at the national and local levels, because this initiative can be either inspiring, you can build synergies, and it's also to avoid duplication of efforts and so on. And so it's because this dialogue and knowledge sharing are key that we want to work on this multi-stakeholder interfaces. And we have an example in Europe of multi-stakeholder interfaces focusing on agricultural soil. So this is the work that was done in the GP Soil program that established national hubs. So these groups gathered key national stakeholders for topics related to agricultural soils. And as you can see here, the role of these national hubs were to provide input and feedback to the GP Soil program and contribute also to the work done in the research, but also to voice the national position and needs and contribute to the dissemination of GP Soil results. And so from this observation, our initial ambition in Prepsoil was to build on national hubs to foster the mission implementation by extending the scope of EGP Soil national hubs to all land uses and to promote the setting up of long-lasting hubs beyond the member states involved in the EGP Soil, while still keeping the flexibility, let's say, that there was in this national hub. And we make some recommendations, an example on how to establish and organize such a multi-stakeholder forum that can still be interesting as a piece of advice for you, even for Miro Group, I believe. So we had this ambition, and the good news is that it was kind of aligned with the recommendation from the mission board. So I won't detail that because Teresa just presented. You have here the link toward the document she showed. So the mission board's recommendation. And maybe just as a highlight is that one of the recommendations was to build on what is already in place, which were what we were targeting in Prepsoil. And so in the end, we can see that this solid health national hubs idea are close to the idea of Miro Group, although Miro Groups have a bit more formal approach with a formal acknowledgement and appropriation by the national authorities. And so the hubs could be seen as the first steps towards Miro Groups. That's why it was logical to interact with the mission board, with the mission secretariat to build synergy. And that's why we are now working together to foster this development of national Miro Groups. So once we agreed on that, we wanted to build an overview of what already exists for the moment. To do so, we have collected the data with the different countries. So we had two actions to collect information to build the overview. One was an online survey that was sent to country representatives in the program committee dedicated to the mission at the summer, autumn of 2024, and we had 22 answers. And then we decided to organize bilateral meetings with volunteer representatives to refine the responses and have a better understanding of their situation. So if we take the two actions, we have 12 countries that said they have a Miro Group or a similar organization, meaning it's not necessarily a Miro Group per se, and not a Miro Group as, let's say, defined by the recommendation from the mission board, but it is an organization that are today carrying all or part of the types of action that are expected from a Miro Group. Now, we have as I said, we had two actions, and there's 15 countries that participated to both actions. So we are going to focus a bit more on the country that answered to these two actions. And among these 15 countries, 9 countries state they have a Miro Group or a similar organization, and 6 countries are planning to establish a Miro Group. This is the situation when we have we've done the bilateral meeting. So in February 2025, things may have evolved since, but for the moment we are going to focus on that, and more specifically on the 9 countries that have an organization carrying the type of action or some of the action expected from a Miro Group. And if we start with the scope of these groups, Here you have the different land use covered in the scope. So it's the land use that are addressed as a topic in the groups. It's not necessarily the entire expertise from the members involved. And we can see that agricultural soils are the main topic, which is not a surprise. Forest soil I well covered as well, and then for the other use, it's a bit less representative, but all the representatives we interviewed were explained that they were considering and willing to work toward extending the scope of this different group, and in several groups there was the potential to do so with the expertise represented. Still, regarding the scope of the existing groups, here you have the types of stakeholders that are involved in these groups. I'm going to just zoom in a bit. What you can see here is on the x-axis, you have the type of stakeholders, the different types of stakeholders. And then on the y-axis, you have the number of mirror groups with this type of stakeholders represented. The different colors are associated to the different groups that were identified. So one color is one mirror group, and it gives you an idea of how many types of stakeholders are represented within a mirror group. So we can see it's diverse. But what we can see also is that ministries and public agencies are relatively well represented. And of course, scientific community are involved in all the groups. Regarding the ministry or the public agencies involved, of course, we see that Ministry of Agriculture, the stakeholders from the agricultural sectors are well represented, while for the environment or research, it's a bit less present, but it's in line with the scope we just seen. And for the other stakeholders, so it's like regional and policy makers, a central number of land users, in fact, farmers, foresters, urban planners. We have industries, advisory services, education, civil society and citizen, and other, which is mainly associations or NGOs. And just one thing to highlight here is that this graph shows the type of stakeholders, the different categories represented, but not the number of stakeholders, nor the expertise of each stakeholder. For example, in the advisory services here, you don't have the information on what type of expertise is behind this advisory services. And finally, regarding the scope, you have here the types of activities that are carried out within the existing groups. So the types of activities are on the y-axis, and the number of mirror groups that carried out these activities are on the x-axis. And basically, the lower part of the graph is mainly actions related to communication and sharing information about the soil mission, the cause, about other European soil-related initiatives. And the top of the graph, the upper part, is more actions related to policy discussions, sharing advice to policymakers, and direct involvement into policy implementation, policy discussion, and also building synergies between national actions and the soil mission objectives. So really discussing how to implement the soil mission at the national level. And the idea would be to have more activities. If we look at the recommendation from the mission board, it would be to have more activities related to this last part, so the policy advice and the implementation of the mission at the national level. But it's also what takes the most time to implement. So the results are not surprising, and so we can see that there, from our nine groups that answered our survey and that participate to the meetings, half, a bit less than half, have activities related to sharing advice and being involved into regulation development and so on. All right, I see that the time is passing. So regarding the organization of the existing groups, you will have feedback just after this presentation, but here you have some main highlights. What we can say that 7 groups are coordinated by ministries, 1 is coordinated by a public agency, and 1 group is coordinated by an NGO, although it involved also in the group a public agency. And the number of members varies quite widely. Some groups have like 10 stakeholders, members involved, and others are more than 100 members involved. Of course, it's not the same way to manage this group, and all the members don't necessarily have the same involvement. But yeah, you have a group where you will have only a ministry, agency, research institute working together and then reaching out to stakeholders through their own actions, while other groups are more open and people interested stakeholders interested can join. So it's different approach. And we have about half of these existing groups that are working with the thematic subgroups. And here, of course, just to highlight that most groups that are currently operational build on existing group, existing network, or at least stakeholders that are used to working together. And the connection between the mirror groups and GGP soil national hubs is variable. It depends on the national context and, more importantly, on the scope of the EGP soil national hub. So some groups are directly built on the national hub, while other countries choose to keep two distinct groups because the activity of the national hubs were really focused on agricultural or forest soil, and the group has a scope a bit broader. And of course, there are countries that were not involved in EGP soil, and so they don't have an EGP soil national hub to work with. All right, regarding drivers and challenges, so maybe just it's really dependent on the national context, but if we try to gather and see some common ground, what we can say is that the political backing is well, a strong driver or a strong challenge, depending on whether you have it or not. But it's really important to have this political backing to have a group close to a mirror group. It was also mentioned that stakeholders were not always completely aware of the benefits there was to participate in such a group or the benefits from the mission. So it's raised the question, well, first of the stakeholders that you engage, of course, but because we can wonder whether in this kind of mirror groups we need, for example, farmers or soil advisor or a representative of farmers, but not farmers directly. But that's also show that there's still some work to do to raise awareness and to highlight how important it's the work we are doing. And of course, the history of interaction on soil-related topics have also an influence, but it's in line with the fact of building on what already exists. If you have people that are already used to interact on soil-related topic, it will be much easier to establish a mirror group. And so the assets to succeed mirror this observation, and it's in line with what observed in EGP soil and our own observation in Prepsoil. The support from national authorities is a big asset, as well as a clear mandate. Teresa mentioned it, but it's important when you have a group that it's clear what the group is going to do, of course. Dedicated facilitator or several facilitators, at least one person identified as the one managing or at least facilitating the actions of the group. We mentioned already at the time building an existing initiative, and the question that is often identified is, of course, the funding, although it can help to have this support from national authorities. And I would like to finish this part with highlighting one interest that was shared by the different people we interviewed, is that all the country representatives were interested in having more interaction, or at least more opportunity to discuss with other countries about their own experience, how they manage their mirror group establishment, their mirror group management. And so that's one thing that would be interesting to have in the future. All right, and well, really quickly, just to highlight that we've done that in Prepsoil, but of course the dynamic to develop mirror group won't stop with Prepsoil. So now we are disseminating the information and the data we collect. So this webinar is recorded because it will be available online, but we are also finalizing a written report with a bit more details that will also be available at the end of the project. And we work with the mission secretariat and the mission board members, because they are the ones that started the mirror group dynamic, and they are willing to continue moving forward. And of course, we had direct interaction with the representative from the several countries, because they are the one that will have that will be that will lead this work in their country in the end. And thank you very much for your attention. I'm gonna try to find my interface back. Sorry. There. All right, thank you very much. So we are a bit beyond schedule, but we will take still a few minutes to answer question if there's any. Line, did you?
Yeah, there is one question that came just when Teresa stopped her presentation. So I think it's directed to you, Teresa. So it's from Pier Paolo. He asks, can you please specify about the level of confidence required with mirror group members on future program draft documents?
Oh. I'm a bit unclear about what you mean with this. I mean, future draft documents of projects. I guess that the participants cannot move in the discussion. Can you read the question again? Because I'm not sure I understood exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I can read it again, but if you can specify, Pier Paolo, a little bit more, maybe. So the question was, if you can specify the level of confidence required with mirror group members on future program draft documents.
I don't think there's any requirement. I mean, there's no requirement about it, and there's no need, because the question is more, it's about soil. It's about promoting soil, putting soil in the agenda, and promoting activities or policies or training, acknowledgement and information that can help soil conditions, so can help soil managers to have better soil conditions. So it's very broad. It's not only related to any program or financial program, if I get it right. So I mean, there's no requirement, and maybe it can be good that one of the members of the mirror group is acknowledged or knows about the program, financial programs, but it's not a need at all.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
All right. Were there any other?
There was a question about the presentation and the recording, which will be available on the event page where you registered. We will also send out, of course, a link afterwards with those materials.
All
so
right.
yeah, no, sorry, so I think Pier Paolo tried to specify. He says, I think it's clear a mirror group could also be considered a board to support country representatives in drafting new programs.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
All right, great. Well, then let's go to the next part of the webinar. Feel free to ask your question in the Q&R module if something comes. So now we will have 3 country representatives that will share their own experience. So the idea here, it's the different groups are not necessarily mirror groups. They are as defined by the mission board recommendations, I mean. But there are groups that are currently carrying out all or part of the activities expected from a mirror group, and it's basically the idea of sharing different initiatives with different starting points, and different maturation level, if we can say that like that, just to give the example and share feedback from these different countries. Except if there's a real need to clarify something after one presentation, I suggest we go with the 3 presentation, and then we will have time after all this presentation to discuss a bit more all together about the mirror group and what will be presented right now. So, well, thank you to the 3 speakers first, and let's start with our first speaker for this feedback session, which is Teresa van Heusel from the Austrian Research Promotion Agency, and she's also the national contact point from Cluster 6, Origin Europe in Austria, sorry. And feel free to complete this brief introduction, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I will just share my screen. Let's see if you see the right side of my screen. Do you see the full mode presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Okay. Just a second. So, okay. Yeah, so thank you for the introduction. My name is Teresa van Hustel. I am NCP in Austria for Cluster 6 and also for the Mission Soil. And I am kind of supporting the national implementation of the European Mission Soil in Austria. But my colleague, Elisabeth Thompson, she's not here today, unfortunately, but she's actually at FFG the main person working together with the different ministries on the implementation of the Mission Soil. And basically, we are working in tandem. So she's really working on the national implementation, and I'm NCP on the European level. So, and I will just give you a quick short overview on what we do in Austria and how it works here concerning the implementation of the missions. So we do have a governance structure in Austria for the implementation of all the 5 missions. So later on I'm just focusing on the mission soil, but we're doing this for all the 5 missions. And there is basically on a strategic level, there is a working group on the EU missions, which is consisting of different experts and representatives of the relevant ministries and also research institutions. And there is also a so-called mission management group, who is also supporting on a strategic level. And these 2 groups, they comprise about 50 people each. And on the operational level, and like for us today, the important level, like the level of what we call mission action groups, but what could be seen as a mirror group of the missions. We have these mirror groups for all the 5 missions, and for the mission soil, we have around 100, 120 people in this mirror group. But I will, a bit later on, I will talk more in detail about this group. You see on the left side of the slide, you see also the so-called supporting groups. So this is the mission facility and also the mission management unit. And this mission management unit, like I said in the beginning, my colleague Elisabeth, she's part of that, and they are really working and supporting a lot the national implementation. So what else can I tell you? Yeah, maybe a couple of more words on the mission action group, SOIL, our mirror group. So this group is actually co-supervised by 2 co-chairs. They are from the Federal Ministry of Science and Research. This is Carolina Begosch-Pfefferkorn, and also the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, Climate and Environmental Protection. This is Andrea Spanischberger, and these 2, they are co-supervising this group, and they are also experts to the European Working Group for the Mission Soil, as am I. So we are also part of the Mission Action Group, and in that way, we are also ensuring the connection between the national and the European level of the Mission Soil. Yeah, and in general, this group comprises the most relevant actors in the area of soil health across different sectors in Austria. This is academia, practice, the public sector, also very important representatives of the national and federal governments. And all in all, we have around 130 members in this group. And with that, I will go to my next slide. Here you just get a bit of a timeline. I will not say much about it, but just to get a feeling of how long we're already working on that. So in order to establish this mission action group for the mission soil, we started actually in 2021 to build up this expert group, the mirror group. And back then, this was quite some work also together. Of the two co-chairs were working together also in cooperation with FFG and the NCP, my colleague that was working on that. And they together, they built up this group and had a lot of meetings with those experts in order to discuss what are the most important needs in Austria, what do we need to do in order to bring the topic of soil health to move on with it. And in the end, the group together collectively came up, this was in 2022, with a national implementation framework for the strategy for the mission soil. And then it moved on with several meetings and exchange within this group, and like until let's say, where do we jump to? Like, yeah, in February 2025. So this year, this was a quite important publication that the Mission Action Group made, the action plans. So for the Mission Soil, we do have a Mission Action Plan in Austria. This was co-developed by the MIRA Group under the supervision of the core group, which is basically the ministries and also FFG, working together on this action plan. And now it's really a question of putting what is outlined in this action plan, putting this really into practice and really doing what we would like to do. And of course, this is a challenge. And there are also kind of creative ways in doing that. So for example, currently we are also working or planning on the submission of a LIFE project. So European funding that could be used to bring our national actions for the mission soil also further and to develop it further. Okay, so I talked already about the action plan. You have later here in the presentation, you have also a link to this action plan. At the moment, it's in German only available, which is important since it's a national action plan. But I guess with all the tools available, a translation is not difficult. And in this action plan, we basically have 3 thematic pillars. I will just say a couple of words on those pillars. Very quickly just. So the first pillar is soil competence and education. So we figured out that this is like really the basis of soil health. People need to know, the right people need to be educated about soil health. And one of the goals that we defined is to develop a collection of teaching material on the topics of soil for the education of children and young people. And also other goals that we defined, but let's stick to the first one. And what we also figured out, or what we made in the mission action plan, also that what we made visible is that there is already a lot of material available. It's just somehow also a question of collecting it. So there is nationally a lot of material available online. But also several mission soil projects, they do develop material for teaching, for education, and we are also in contact with those projects in order to make use of what they are doing. And what we also defined are some new measures, like for example, a platform to collect all this educational material, and also what we call Bodenbotschafter or soil ambassador, that should be like also a training module that we want to develop for people to become such ambassadors. The second pillar is soil research and networking. So there are also several goals that we follow within the action plan. One is, first of all, the continuation and also increase of support for innovative R&D in Austria. So there is a lot of research already going on in the field of soil research and soil science. But what should be ensured is the continuation of that. And another goal that we defined is developing a knowledge and networking platform, which also includes all relevant stakeholders. Again, a lot of material already available nationally, if you want, you can also later have a look on the collection of materials that we collected. And the third pillar is all around soil protection. And there we have defined that, first of all, continuous support and activities are important and should be continuously supported. And what is needed is also a monitoring system to actually access soil data in Austria. Yes, so this was all about the action plan that mainly the Mirror group was developing and working out. And the mission management unit, so really the team that is really focused on implementing the missions, all of them, but also the mission soil in Austria, they do a lot of activities. For example, they do visit all the federal states, the cities, the municipalities, talk about the missions, tell the people what are the missions, what can they do, how can they contribute to the mission soil. Another thing that they do is that they also carry out the portfolio management. So see what is out there, what European projects are out there, what is happening on a national basis, make this visible. Also includes, again, the Mirror group, telling them what is there, how can they contribute. They can also make visible what they are already doing since they are the experts. Yeah, so there is a lot of activities going on. Important is also to mobilize new actors, maybe unusual actors that are not so familiar with the mission approach yet. And very important is that we think in the Mirror group, we think on a national level, but also on a European level. So we really make sure that we have this connection between national implementation and the European mission soil. Yeah. So with that, this is my last slide. So this is just an impression of the variety of actors that we have in the Mirror group. So you see there several universities, the scientific community, but also the Chamber of Agriculture, farmers associations, representatives of the federal government, NGOs, schools, agricultural schools, that is also important. And yeah, with that, I would like to close and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you very much. So I don't see a urgent question. It seems to be clear. So don't hesitate to ask your question for the discussion session at the end. And we will continue with our second speaker from this feedback sessions, which is Elina Nicola who is a Ministerial Advisor at the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry in Finland. So Elina, feel free to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Flavian, and thank you for Teresa for a very interesting presentation. Can you see the slide now, okay?
Not yet, no.
Okay. Just tell when, because I can see it. There has been some difficulties in the connection, so I noticed that. What about now?
No.
No, okay. Maybe it's better that you share them.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I'll come back here. Okay, here we go. Yes, let me introduce myself. My name is Elina Nicola. I work in the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, and I'm the delegate of this Horizon Europe Cluster 6 program committee, and also take part of the soil mission working group meetings. And then I tell you shortly about how we have approached this soil mission mirror group thing here in Finland. If you put the next slide, yes, thank you. We don't start from the scratch. We have done a lot of work related to soil and also climate greenhouse gases from soils. We established a vast research and development program in 2020 to 2024 climate action package called Catch the Carbon, where there were almost 200 research and development projects going on. And we established this so-called carbon catching up community also, which is one goal is to share information, communication activities and interaction to build better and a strong implementation of climate smart forestry and agricultural practices. Then we have this carbon action in Finland also going on. It's established by the Baltic Sea Action Group, which is a non-profit foundation here, and it gathers farmers to implement greenhouse gas and biodiversity related processes in agriculture mainly. And on this existing work, we have established our Mission Soil National Mirror Group in 2024, and we established it officially until the end of 27, which is the year when the Horizon Europe is going to end. But this doesn't mean that we don't continue our work after that, because we have noticed the importance of this action and the advantages of speaking together about soil-related matters. Next slide, please. Here's our how we have organized it, and we have we are very much grateful to the Commission from the excellent guidelines, because we have followed them and we have found them very practical and suitable for us. We have this policy group with different ministries involved, and also Research Council Finland, which acts as a national contact point of this mission. And then we have a stakeholder group with academia, universities, and research performing organizations, and also the program manager of the EJP soil activities, which there's a connection to that also. Then there are agriculture and forestry related agencies, and also other relevant stakeholders, that is Farmers and Forest Owners Union, also this Baltic Sea Action Group with and also rural advisory organizations. One handicap that we have noticed is that urban soils are not so much presented yet, but we are working on to kind of better that situation. So we are mostly now in our meetings, we have concentrated on agriculture and forest soils. But then, yes, we established the group officially, but we think that it should be open-ended. So there are about 30 or 40 people involved now, but we keep our meetings open, so we can invite relevant stakeholders there to take part and part of the discussions and so on. So this is not too official, I hope. This mirror group is chaired by Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, yours truly. I'm the chairperson on that group. Then we have a secretariat, which is they come from one of our regional authorities, and it's the climate unit of these ELI centers, and they also take care of the climate adaptation mirror group activities. So there's a link to that mission also. And then we have, in addition to these two groups, we have a core group of actors, and we together plan the content of the meetings and activities. There is an Minister of Agriculture, Minister of the Environment, the Research Council in Finland, and Finnish Soil Board members. Now that we had two of them, but I think that the mandate of that Soil Board is now ended, and I'm not sure what is going to happen next, but still we have these two members still in our core group. Let's see. Okay, and well, I could say that we don't have any subgroups. We feel that at this point it's better that we discuss this in a large group and together. But let's see what happens in the future. But next slide then, please. There is some tasks of the Mirror Group. I'm not going to read these through. They are more or less directly from the Commission guidelines. But I would like to point one thing, and it's this promote consideration of international EU level soil policies at national level. And we do have the policy officers responsible for the soil monitoring law in our group. So there is a connection to that also in our discussions. Okay, next one, please. And the way we work, we have annual meetings 2 or 3 times a year, and we focus on a specific theme. We have discussed the soil monitoring law. We're going to discuss EJP soil research and how these research projects are going to can be used in our work. We have discussed about soils and how AKIS groups what they can do in promoting the objectives of this mission. Also, we have discussed about living labs and what that mean in forestry sector, and one theme that we are going to discuss next autumn is urban soils. We have our organization in promoting this mission is quite thin, so we are decided that one way of communicating of the soil mission objectives is via different events, and we have a kind of an asked that or said to everybody that we are more than happy to come and talk and discuss and make a presentation of this soil mission objectives in any way we are wanted. So it's kind of that is the one way to spread the knowledge of this mission. And we have also started a cooperation with the Rural Development Platform in order to enhance communication via their channels. So this communication and capacity building is something that we have to work on more in the future. And also our permanent secretary is going to sign the soil manifesto on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, and also the Ministry of the Environment is going to sign it also, but I'm not sure if he has done it yet, so I have to check. But this is something that we want to kind of show that we mean business with this work. Next slide, please. We have a kind of special attention in every our meetings. We are going to have updates on soil mission board activities. Also, we talk about soil mission work programs and calls. We get a little kind of overview of those. We discuss soil monitoring law and what it means in the future. And also we try to promote living labs and lighthouses in order to kind of spread the information on what they could be in our national contexts. And one thing that we try to keep our Mirror Group members active is that they can tell how they have promoted the objectives of the mission among their own stakeholder groups and what are the concrete actions that they have done to do that. And this is something that we kind of want to encourage them to be active also. So this is just that we're discussing in the meetings, but that we can kind of root the mission soil objectives in practical level. Okay, I think I have one more at least. Thanks. Yes, summary and next steps. We have very active group in discussion. There are people there who are really interested of the subject, and we feel that that we don't have these subgroups is kind of it gives us opportunity to have a more holistic view on soil-related challenges and research needs, and also to think about concrete solutions together. And we have already decided that we continue our work. Whether the soil mission continues or not, we are not aware of what is going to happen, because we feel that we still need more practical solutions and capacity building among our different stakeholders, and we need to spread information of this mission and the importance of soils. One challenge is how to better involve municipalities and urban actors in this work, and we try to find people who work at that sector to join also in our work, and then we need more focus on forest soils, and especially drained boreal peatland forests, because we have a lot of peatland in Finland, and there's many challenges of how to combine forestry and in these type of soils. And then one big question is what is happening after Horizon Europe, and what are the best funding instruments to promote living labs and lighthouses after the Horizon Europe. And still, it's an issue that I think that we all are concerned about of how to, if we establish a lighthouse, what is happening when the funding is over. So it's a big challenge also. Okay, and I think I have some key messages. Yes, thank you very much. There's the one advantage of this kind of a mirror group work is that the group members, they have a practical view on soil management, which is important in order to root the mission soil objectives, and we want to have this kind of an on board also this policy related issues in every meeting, but because there's a connection there, but the focus must be on practical solutions and best practices. And as I said, the clear benefit of having only one group is the information sharing. And yes, and still this big challenge, how to ensure that soil mission objectives are embedded into everyday practices, also when this soil mission is over, or we do very much hope that the mission work isn't going to end when the Horizon Europe program is ending, but we would very much like to continue the good work that we have started in the future also. And I think this is all that I have to say at this point. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Elina. And I didn't. Okay, I lost the screen. Weird. Okay. Is the screen still sharing or not?
No.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much. Maybe we can still keep the question for the end, and also if it's a specific question, the panelists, you should be able to have access to the Q&R module, I believe. So you can also answer some of the questions perhaps directly in the module, because regarding the time, we won't have a lot of time to discuss. So feel free to react in the module. And now, last but not least, I give the floor to Alexandra Perchin for the last feedback. So Alexandra, Associate Professor at the Faculty of Agriculture in the University of Zagreb, and a member of the Croatian Society of Soil Science. I let you share your screen, take the floor, and feel free to complete the introduction.
Thank you very much. I will first share the screen. I hope you hear me all quite well.
I do, yeah.
Okay. Do you see the presentation?
Yes, and it's in full screen, perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and greetings from Zagreb. As Flavian said, I am Alexandra Perchin, Associate Professor here at the University of Zagreb Faculty of Agriculture. And also I'm a Mission Soil Board member. And today I will briefly just present some feedback from Croatia. And firstly, I have to admit that it's a little bit challenging to speak after such outstanding examples from Austria and Finland, especially because we don't have a soil health mirror group in Croatia, but we would like to believe that we have a good starting point in one association, which, let's say, theoretically can be present as informal structure of soil health mirror group, and this is our National Society of Soil Science, so Croatian Society of Soil Science. And this association was established with the aim to bring not only scientists together, but also professionals and some other individuals, along with some legal entities which are engaged not only in soil science, but some related disciplines, in order to disseminate the knowledge, but also to promote awareness of need for the sustainable soil use, and also to protect soil from degradation and permanent loss. Now, and just a few words about the history. This society has been operating under this name since 1992, but the history of soil science associations dates back further in 1931, considering, let's say, some the historical circumstances in our country. Today, this association is governed by an executive board consisting of 5 members. That is the president of the society, also the secretary of the society, and additional 3 board members. One of them currently I'm serving as one of the board member. And as you can see, the society is also structured into several, let's say, specialized subgroups, which convene as necessary, well, in accordance with their, let's say, mandates to deliberate of matter of mutual interest and relevance. Due to their, let's say, nature, they do not interact each other, but still we all, as you can see, currently 82 members are member of this society, and we are mostly researchers and scientific community. 73 of us are from research and scientific community, but still we have some representatives from Center for Soil, which is within the Croatian Agency for Agricultural and Food. And also we have 2 representatives from fertilizer manufacturing company. All members, as you can see, convene at least twice annually. We have our General Assembly around the 5th of December. And also we have always 1 year we go somewhere to the field trip, where we then discuss of these problems of soil and soil health on the field. Also, some additional meetings can be held, but then if some, of course, relevant topic arise. Also, I would like to say that all of us, 82 members, we are working in this society on voluntary basis, and we are really driven by this shared commitment to the soil protection. And we somehow, I would say, firmly believe that this approach is represent the most maybe efficient means of safeguarding the soil health and ensuring its long-term sustainability. Regarding these land uses, sorry, something happened. As I remember this bilateral meeting, we only underlined the agriculture and forestry land use, but actually I would say all land uses are in the working scope of the members of the society. And these are some related activities to soil mission. As you can see, exchanging of information about mission goals, contribution with policy decision, contribution with leadership advice to policy makers. And if some, let's say, more specific terms, this can be refers to, as you can see, some consultation regarding some national legislation acts, but also presentation of progress of some mission soil projects, also celebration of World Soil Day, also coordination some thematic meetings and roundtables discussion focused on soil and health and soil conservation, and also this organization of international soil science conferences. The next one will be held next year in September, so in 2026, in our coastal part of Croatia, and you are all more than welcome to come, because probably the topic will be related to the soil mission. Also, last year we participated in organizing this Horizon Day, let's say, when we present the program for 2024. Now, something about this success criteria. We believe that our efforts will be directed towards to these three of them. We will see how we will manage this, but for now on, we just even now thinking in consideration that all efforts that were taken under these members of Croatian science, soil science, soil science, and the members of our working group involved in this mission, that maybe some of these criteria has already been met. So we will see in the future what will future will bring. But still, I will just try to point out at least these next steps for us as a small country, as a Croatia, for sure, because we don't have this formal structure. Main goal for the time being is continue with regular national consulting with all relevant ministries, agencies, together this intergovernmental and this intersectoral overview for all matters directly and indirectly relating to the mission, and also further extension of this group, especially this, as Ms. Pinto said, this ownership from public, I would say. But maybe just one specific message, and I will finish with this slide. For us as Croatia, as a very small country, well, it seems challenging to have a more formalized structure directly stemming from and for the one particular Horizon Europe instrument that has limited traction or mobilizing funding outside of this program. And with that, I will say thank you for your kind attention, and of course, I'm open for any kind of question if you have.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Line, do we have any question? And also
Yes.
in the panelists, if you have any.
Yes, there was a question to Theresa van Heusel about funding. And I saw that Theresa just answered in the chat, but maybe you could briefly elaborate on it, Theresa, so that we have it for the recording also. It's about funding and whether it's available.
Yes, so the question was if there was specific funding for the implementation of the missions in Austria. So there was and there is, but so there was like across different agencies, there were different calls for projects for the implementation, also for projects for the implementation of the mission soil. But what I also wrote in the chat, this was one part of the package, let's say. But what the actions that we defined in the mission soil action plan, they go way or beyond what was available in this funding. So in that way, we also try to use all kinds of different other funding sources that are available also on the European level.
Thank you very much.
Was there any question or reaction within the panel as well, or the participants? Feel free to ask your. Okay, no, it's an all notification. Sorry, to ask your question. Even though we are close to the end, but I think we can still take at least I believe one question if there's any, and or reaction or whether you get any reaction at all. And just maybe because we were talking about the Austria mirror group, I'm not sure I catch whether now that the implementation plan is in place, is the group seen as an entity to follow the implementation at the national level, or it's completely in the end of the ministries and you just have some information, but it's not.
So the group itself, the mirror group itself, is a very important group also for me as NCP, because they are an expert group. I keep them also informed of all the European developments. And at the same time, if we, for example, we organize workshops, we organize events, they are invited to all the relevant mission events. So we still keep, yeah, you're right, like this action plan is now out. It's done basically, this document, but the mirror group still exists and is still an important group that we work with.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, well, feel free to, if you have a question, to ask them on the chat, but given the timing, I think well, except if there's something in the among the panelists, but otherwise to hope to finish on time, I will give the floor to Luis Sanchez for the conclusion. And yeah, I hope the different presentations were helpful for those of you that will have to do the same work within your country. We try to have different initiatives with different approach, and also show the kind of questions that are raised when you already have existing initiative in place, and how do you manage what's in place and the national context, let's go with that, to still have an operational group. So Luis, whenever you're ready, I give you the floor.
Thank you very much. So yeah, first of all, I would really like to, I'm quite impressed, frankly, by the progress made by these particular 3 mirror groups. I saw really amazing activities, frankly. So this is really very promising. So thank you very much for sharing with us. Also to Flavian and Teresa for participating and sharing their knowledge with us. So, well, we hope really that this will inspire and help others to establish these mirror groups in the future, or similar structures. Of course, no need to mention also that these groups are an excellent exercise to get more prepared for the upcoming soil monitoring law. And I think Elina already mentioned something about that they are already working on that. So that's really great, and should also be an incentive now that we are closer to the adoption of this directive. But I didn't want to really, for us, this is not the end of the journey. We will continue encouraging and supporting the establishment and operation of these groups. In that sense, I would like to recall a couple of points. One is that the call that is now open for proposals, I recall the title is Support to the Operation and Further Development of Soil Health Science Policy Interfaces and National Soil Health Hubs. It's a bit long, but is clearly aligned and is in a way was designed to further support your efforts and the coordination with the mission soil. So, well, this topic is expected to really build on, also you also mentioned, the EJP Soil National Hubs, by assessing and improving science policy mechanisms across the EU and promoting further collaboration and tools for managing soil health knowledge. So that's one thing that I think is the next step to continue this support. And the second point is, well, we are going to share with the members of the Strategic Program Committee, Subgroup Mission Soil, a document entitled Exploring Potential Synergies Between Horizon Europe and the Common Agricultural Policy on Living Labs and Lighthouses Applied to agriculture for comments and suggestions. I think this is also a interesting or concrete action for mirror groups or other similar structures to test or to continue the collaboration on specific points. This document, we already anticipated in the last meeting of the working group, proposes ways to promote and support collaboration between the Mission Soil Living Labs and the Common Agricultural Policy operational groups. I think in your examples also, I think Finland also mentioned that they are discussing or considering EIP operational groups. So this is this document about, because hundreds of these groups are planned to be created between 23 and 27 to work on soil health. And these groups are supported through CAP national strategic plans. So the connection between our 100 living labs, most of them working on agricultural land, and these operational groups, we think would be very beneficial. Well, I conclude by thanking all again for your participation, and in particular now to the Prepsoil team. That was a, let's say, pioneering project for the mission. It's now approaching its termination. So thank you very much for these efforts in this last mile, supporting these mirror groups, and all of you for your attendance and contributions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Luis. And thank you all for joining today and for speaking today. And I mean, have a nice day. And you will have the recording later on the Prepsoil website.
We will promote it further. I think it's a very good material. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.